Spies Rejser, a Danish travel company, came up with the idea for a campaign targeting would-be grannies and their disappointing barren children who have ruined the family bloodline with their lazy, unproductive loins. No longer would Danes have to rely on things happening naturally, because when can you ever rely on that slack-ass Magnus to do anything right? This is the crazy-ass ad they produced. There's nothing coy or subtle. They straight up want you to fuck on your mom's dime. They want your mom to pay more based on how badly she wants you to fuck. Because, as they point out, it's weird if mom is there in the room, but not weird if she's some kind of vacation pimp or orgasm supervisor. The video gives you plenty of reasons for why and how a vacation is ideal for getting the juices flowing, while also avoiding the most glaring issue: your mom's face both when you leave and when you return. Yeesh. I bet it's like a cat watching you open a can of tuna. Near as I can figure, every sex advice site in the world has devoted at least a page to telling us about the thrill of role play, which is nerdy when you roll a 20-sided die to do it, but somehow very alluring when you just tell another naked person you're a cop. Sex engineers will suggest that after years in a relationship, you may not feel that same flair anymore. However, those passionless years will have created a level of trust which allows you to open up and share some fantasy best explored through role play. Maybe you always wanted to pluck your French teacher, or a man in uniform. Maybe you just really want to Slim Jim a unicorn, and your partner is willing to put on a horn and a horsetail butt plug. What could go wrong? Every single awkward sexual experience you've ever had is immediately so much worse if role-playing is included. If someone ever walked in on you or saw you through a window, imagine that, but with one of you dressed as a milkmaid and the other in a Scott Bakula mask. Maybe you wanted a threesome and you ended up getting jealous of the other two spending too much time together. Now imagine having that same memory burned into your head, except you're all dressed like Powerpuff Girls. You could always eschew the costumes in favor of just play acting, but I was watching Transformers the last night as I typed this: a movie with a budget north of $200 million and featuring Anthony Hopkins in a prominent role, and I can assure you that acting is clearly not easy. If you role-played at the level of a $200 million Michael Bay ode to shit smashing into other shit, your sex drive would retreat so fast that dogs would start barking at the supersonic whistling it created. Play acting isn't everyone's forte. It's not even most people's. And the odds of both of you being able to pull it off flawlessly every time the blood rushes to your lust thickets are pretty dismal. You may manage a few great rounds of Foghorn Leghorn and the Naive Librarian, but there's just as high a likelihood that you're going to stumble over telling your fantasy Ferengi that her lobes are the bounciest you've ever seen and ruin the moment for both of you. And that's because role-playing requires improvising a scene. Chances are you're not an actor, and neither is your partner. The second you try to make a movie out of your fuck session, you've turned your intimate time into a late-night 1980s Cinemax flick. Compounding the acting issue is the potential for just not being into it. It's awesome if you both can work with the same fantasy, but there's probably a good reason that when you think of roleplay, you think of the same 5 or 10 scenarios. Things like cop, suspect, teacher, student, Nintendo Switch owner, Nintendo Switch are easy as hell. They're safe power dynamics that people feel comfortable working with. You're not embarrassed to suggest those because they're out there. They're in the collective consciousness of the world's most hardcore orgasm enthusiasts. It's when you really cut loose and propose post-apocalyptic triple-dick monkey man and an octo-boobed mermaid from the Bronx that you run a greater and greater risk of getting that look from your partner that says, "Have you always been a sexually depraved gibbon of a human?" You don't want that. Probably. Spice up your Twitter by following Ian, who's always up for tragic role play or some butter chicken. Lovecraft want exclusive content, prefer an ad-free experience? We've got you covered. Sign up for our subscription service for all that and more. For more, check out the 5 least sexy experiences everyone goes through and 4 awkward scenarios you only tolerate from a sexual partner. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and find out why we're lost in a sea of confusion in 4 exciting new technologies for having sex all by yourself, and watch other videos you won't see on the site. Also follow our new PictoFacts Facebook page, we dare you.